Working conditions and child labor in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Working conditions in factories. Many workers in the late 1800s and early 1900s spent an entire day tending a machine in a large, crowded, noisy room. Others worked in coal mines, steel mills, railroads, slaughterhouses, and in other dangerous occupations. Most were not paid well, and the typical workday was 12 hours or more, 6 days per week. Owners spent little money to improve the safety and comfort of their workers. Since there were no laws protecting workers, owners took no responsibility for employees who got hurt or sick on the job. Many of these workers were new immigrants who had limited skills, spoke little English, and could easily be taken advantage of by business owners. Number 1. What was life like for workers in the late 1800s and early 1900s? Child labor in the United States. During the industrial growth of the 1800s and early 1900s, business leaders often hired children to work in factories. From 1908 to 1912, photographer Lewis W. Hine took his camera across America to photograph children as young as 3 years old, working for long hours, often under dangerous conditions, in factories, mines, and fields. In 1909, he published the first of many photo essays depicting working children at risk. In these photographs, the essence of wasted youth is apparent in the sorrowful and even angry faces of its subjects. Some of his images, such as the young girl in the mill glimpsing out the window, are among the most famous photographs ever taken. So the first photo is the 7 and 8-year-old boys climbing up on machinery to replace bobbins for sewing. The second image is Sadie, a cotton mill spinner, from 1908. And then the third is Breaker Boys at a Pennsylvania coal mine in 1908. Based on these photographs, what conclusion can be made about the lives of these children? The growth of labor unions. As industrialization grew, owners demanded more of their workers. To deal with the problems, workers formed organizations called labor unions. Workers realized that they had strength if they acted together. Unions wanted the right to collective bargaining. This is a process where representatives of workers negotiate employment conditions with representatives of management. If collective bargaining is successful, a contract, a legal agreement, is formed. If it is unsuccessful, workers may go on strike. This means that workers intentionally refuse to do their jobs until their demands are met. Workers unionize. Many labor unions formed during the late 1800s, including the Knights of Labor and the American Federation of Labor. Overall, their goals were to fight for shorter workdays, higher wages, shorter hours, improved working conditions, and an end to child labor. Certain labor unions would support going on strike while others did not. Those labor unions who supported striking would collect money from members over time to be saved for when members were on strike. The money would be used as a source of income for the members while they were on strike. Some unions only allowed skilled white laborers who could not be replaced easily. Others, however, were open to people of different skill levels and backgrounds. By the early 1900s, labor unions became a powerful force in the American industry. Number 3. What was the importance of unions during this time period?